please give it or leave the session. I think that's the only option. Or I think you can just remove this banner from your screen if you don't want to answer it. Okay, so welcome everybody to CEPHEI session, to CEPHEI workshop, how to design online course. My name is Anastasia Chikir, and I'm a doctoral researcher at LUT University. You can add me on LinkedIn or write me an email at any time. You can see my contact details here on the slide. Today we will work like in interactive format. So I will have a presentation to which you can connect already now. I will drop the link to the chat. You can also scan QR code and or go to menti.com and paste this code. So roughly every second slide, I will have some interactions with you. So I will ask you to answer some questions or give comments, and we will continue our discussion like based on what you are saying. So please join. We'll be happy to see you all there. And to check that everything is working, let's spin on a map. Where are you from? So we can see how many people are here. And again, like there is link in the chat to connect to presentation, and also you can go to menti.com and paste this code like 11118436. If during the presentation you will accidentally leave the presentation or like leave this interactive presentation, you can always use these instructions to get back. Okay, nice. We have someone from New Zealand. I hope it's not a mistake. It's very nice to see you. It's completely different time zone and mostly Europe. I also put on map my pin from Finland. So nice interactions. How many people? 7 people, 6 people, 5 marked. Cool. Also, how it will be happening here, like from your phone or from your device, you put a pin or answer the question, and you can see results on my screen. So on your screen, you won't see results. You will only see the slides, general slides, or the slides where you should interact with them. Okay, maybe one more pin, one more connection. No, okay. So let's go. What we are going to do today. First of all, we'll talk about what is the online course so that we are on the same level. We will talk about pain and gain of e-learning. We will talk about trends in course development. We will take a look on backwards approach on course development, and will be like kind of a bridge to the other session that is going to be in the evening, held by our MEF. MEF University, our partner in the project, by Caroline Kurban. She is also here. Nice to see. You will also try this approach on your course in developing online course, and we will talk about some tips and tricks that you can use when you doing the online course like for yourself, and quality assessment, question and answers, like free time, let's say like this. Okay, so first of all, what is online course for you? What do you understand by online course? Should be an option to put some words there. While you're answering, I would say that I try to Google like term online course, and many descriptions starts with the word revolutionary, modern form. But it's so pity when in fact like you open like online courses like MOOCs, and many of them are just an attempt to transfer the traditional lecture to the online form. So it's like super long, not interesting, not interactive. Anytime, any place, systematic, interesting, interactive, informative. Yes, all good, all nice. I would say that today, like during this workshop, when we will be talking online about online course, I will be meaning like mostly digital delivery of course content, either synchronously or asynchronously. So at the same time, like we will be talking about the online lecture, um, uh, about online lecture that we can give through Zoom, or about online course that can be like completely independent and asynchronous. And also I forgot to mention, but if you have any questions, we are in a small group here, so feel free to step in at any time. Just let me finish the sentence and you can ask the question. Okay, let's go further. So let's start with the painful part. What is the pain of online learning or e-learning? First of all, it's a step out of comfort zone for everyone, especially for the teacher, for the lecturer who is recording the material or who is presenting everything, because first time, like first moment when you stand in front of camera, you probably don't know what to say, or you don't know how to interact with the camera without any people like on the background, so without real audience. And it might take you like in first attempts very a lot of time to get used to it and to start doing new things. Second is it's different teaching skills are needed. You can't use, or maybe you can, you use the same approaches as you use in the traditional class, but you also need to adapt. So you need digital communication skills with the audience to attract it and to adapt it. So you need to find the ways how to interact with them. Uh, Next thing that's probably surprising, that students are not always happier when you transition to digital form other than to traditional class, because in traditional class they mm, sometimes can be like sitting on the desk and just listening what's happening and get their grade and be happy with that. But if you move to the digital environment, like every step is recorded, so they need to be active, and they're not happy that they need to be active. They usually say like the first time when you move from one type of class to another class, that it requires a lot of time, like much more time than actually it was in the normal class. Uh, what else can happen? Conflicts with the existing system established at university, because just university management is not ready to move in online. They're not supporting, they're not providing tools. So in first steps, usually the teacher has to go on his own and prove that it's actually needed. And the most, I think, important time, that it's very time and resource demanding. When you create video lectures, it takes you a lot of time to write a script, to prepare the scene, and to start recording it. And then also, if you don't have any external support, you have to edit videos yourself. And I just want you to guess how much time does it require to make 1 minute of quality video? So what is the correlation between time required to prepare 1 minute of quality video? You should move the slider. Like here is the time in minutes. Also, the video creation is a very expensive process because according to MIT estimations, it's about $250,000 per course. But if you talk about like very quality course, two answers, maybe three. Yeah, I see that people here are very familiar with the like online education and the course creation because, yeah, also according to estimations of MIT, like 1 minute of quality video equals to 1 hour of work, considering recording, editing, and so on. But I would say probably it takes even more if we're considering the time that's required to write a script. And just to get ready, and this like all these attempts that are not really good. Someone was very enthusiastic about 30 minutes. Okay, but it's all not always a pain, and here comes the gain. First of all, it's an exciting journey um, because teacher and students get new skills, new impressions, and teacher has access to like can reach new students. Uh, the next benefit is the class becomes scalable. So if you're teaching online, it does not matter how many students you have in the class, like 6 people, 20 people, 200 people, thousands of people. Uh, because they can interact with each other in small groups if it's needed. But if you when you deliver the content, it does not matter how many people are there, because in traditional classroom we are limited with the capacity of the classroom. Like we can't fit more than 50 people in the classroom that is counted for 50 people or like made for 50 people. But Zoom can be extended. The capacity of online platform can be extended. So technically there is no limits. Uh, Sorry. Also, you can go global, and that's a big benefit. So if you're online, you're not limited to one place, and you're not actually limited to one time zone. If you're talking about online course, anyone can connect at any time and watch it at any moment. If you're talking about Zoom, so like more synchronous delivery, it actually does not matter where we are right now. So as we saw at the first map, like someone in Finland, someone in New Zealand, someone in Armenia, someone in Netherlands, and we are all still here at the same time, at the same moment, just watching the same slide. Uh, it helps the also the e-learning helps to develop new horizons, new domains. For example, we can talk about learning data analytics, because every movement of students leave the step, like leave some mark, and you can later work with this data and prognose or like do some estimations how your course is progressing, how students are progressing, and what changes you can make. You can also establish a teaching automatics, for example, so you don't need to manually check every student's work or discuss with every student what's happening. You can use quizzes, or you can use peer review tools for that. So students will be kind of evaluating each other and teaching on each other. You can involve industry from all over the world. You're not more like any more limited to one space, like to your city or to your country, that industry should come to the class and talk, and that's the only time and place when they work together. If we are talking about the digital delivery of the course, industry can come at any moment and be there all the time. For example, participate in chats with students or with learners, or give tasks or give lectures, and it can be recorded and can be reused again. Also, if you have this digitally, it has a good business potential if you put it on the right platform and promote it correctly. Like you record it once and then it works for you. So you don't need to every time to invest a lot of time on like delivering the content to get money. And now we will talk a bit about trends in course development. Here is the scale, like on the left side, you can see the left word, synchronous, on the right side, this asynchronous. I would like you to estimate yourself, like how far you are on each of these parameters, like on each of the scale. Like, are you more synchronous or asynchronous? Are you more instructor-based or self-paced? Are you more content-based or project-based? Uh, do you have a fixed course schedule, or you have a modularity? Do you have like unified course for everyone, or you have elements of personalization? So I would like you to move these sliders and to show like where are you now? What's your state? Also, I forgot to mention, but if you have any questions, you can write also here in the chat or in the Zoom chat. I have it open. I see it all. Maybe not immediately, but I see it. Okay, nice. So everyone is somewhere in between. Uh, Technically, here represented the trends of course development. So we are coming more from synchronous to asynchronous course delivery, and like from instructor-based to self-paced delivery. Why it's happening? Because asynchronous and self-paced learning is less demanding in terms of scheduling, repeatability, and it's flexible. So like what can happen in asynchronous course, it can be a continuous enrollment of students and or learners, and they can join at any time, start, end course at any time, and there is not much influence of instructor required. It's also easy to automate, as was said earlier. Um, and the learning, so the main thing that the learning does not stop when students leave the class. It can continue at any time. They can go home and join the class, or like watch lecture, do quiz, participate in discussion if there is a discussion forum. But how to do it? Uh, Firstly, by reducing the amount of live meetings when you have little or no interactions with students. So if you don't interact with students, there is no need on this meeting. You can record the lecture, or like you can record the video, upload it, they can watch it themselves. Because if you don't answer questions, there is no need on like meeting physically face to face, or actually meeting in the Zoom as well. Uh, Create other teaching materials that can be used and reused and learned by students on their own pace. Add interactions at different evaluation points. Okay, so if we are talking about content-based and project-based learning, there is a global movement of in universities of producing problem solvers, not the lectures, not the like theoretical level students. So that's why we talk about transferring experience to students on how to live in this world, how to solve what problems, how to improve life in community, in society, in business. What we need to do with students, we need to teach them practical, valuable theories that are easy to solve, that they're easy to join the okay. That they easy to find job after they graduate from university. So how we can do it? We can do it by inviting industry to the course, by networking with companies in administration, university. So at any level, invite industry, for example, to give guest lectures, to participate in class activities, to communicate with students, to provide case studies that they can solve. In many cases, if industry provide the case study, they usually consider the students to hire in future. So if the project was good, if the outcome of the project was good, the industry might consider to hire the students who did it. And also they might consider to continue working with the university or with this specific professor again. Of course, there are some disadvantages in project-based learning. It does not fit to all courses, like mathematics probably won't be the best course to apply it. But if you're talking about more engineering courses, and it's a good way. Okay, if we talk about like fixation or modularity, uh, smaller chunks of content are easier to digest and easier to stay focused on if we talk about students. So it's easier for them to watch, for example, 6-minute video than listen to 1 hour lecture. It also becomes easier for teacher or for teacher to interact with the content and to update the content. For example, a lot of data are changing very fast, and teacher does not have to update the whole lecture, like 1 hour lecture, for example. He can also he can only change the small, like this 5-minute lecture, if some data updated or there are new theories, new approaches to something. It's also becomes easier to interact with other subjects, other teachers, other disciplines, because we can use these modules, small modules, micro modules, these chunks, and put them to the other course. You can make small chunks of information that students need to digest, like only for the other specific course or for your specific course, and you can move them around, adapt. create a different learning path for students, for example, who are working on the project. So for example, if they have this type of problem, they can go watch this type of videos or this set of videos. If they have another type of problem, they can watch another set of videos or a set of materials. It does not always have to be video. So how to do it? To add some gamification elements. Oh, sorry, I'm already talking about the personalization. Okay, so another moment is like unification and personalization. It's very difficult to make a personalized course if we're talking about face-to-face delivery. Because even if we have 20 people in the class, it's very difficult to communicate with each one of them. It will take a lot of time. But if we're talking about online course delivery, as I said earlier, like there can be different paths, like depending on how students, for example, answer on questionnaire or what type of problems they have. There might be also more flexibility, like what content they can take, like what lectures they can watch. The other thing in online learning or even in learning, like people like kind of competitiveness, so elements of gamification. So if possible, you should or you're advised to add them to your course. Different digital badges that people can share online, like in LinkedIn, or to add to their portfolio. So different quizzes, test interaction elements, discussion boards. So anywhere when people can engage with each other and create their own like personal learning. So not a fixed content, but kind of adapting to students' needs. I think I'm moving faster than I expected because we're already coming to the course design. So I would like to tell you today a bit more about backward design that can be applied to any type of course, but I would say it's pretty useful if you're planning the online course, particularly because you need to think about the other audience or broader audience than your normal students. Uh, so I would recommend first to think like, what is your course? So what are you going to deliver? What you can deliver, but who are your students? What do they need to learn? So first of all, you to identify like what are the expected learning outcomes for students, what they expected to know after they complete the course, and depending on that, you find method of assessment, like, so what is the acceptable evidence that learner have this information, like that learner can use this information for his later life, like what is it, like is it test, is it essay, is it a project, like how you make sure that learner knows what you try to learn them, and only then you start planning the content, the experience, like what is it gonna be, like what are these study models that he needs to take. So we start not from the content that you have and you deliver and you see like what happens, but you start with what is going to be learned by students, like what they're going to know at the end of the course, and then only you plan the content that is going to be delivered to them. Uh, So here is the practice time coming. I will show you the example. You can also click on this link if you open, you have the Mentimeter open from your computer. I will pass this link also to the chat. So please open it and let's look on example first. Here is the course that we are developing at LUT, for example, digital teaching in university environment. Our target audience are university teachers who does not have an experience in teaching digitally. So what the learning outcomes we are expecting them to have while they complete the course? We are expecting them to be able to discuss and, for example, differentiate various tools of organizing educational process. So to this board, I will add a new sticker with these learning outcomes. To add a sticker, I either press this plus sign or I double click on the empty space. Oy, became super small. I think I managed to put something else. Okay, I will just stop. To make it fast, I won't type it till the end. So just type the beginning. So you can type like what is the expected learning outcomes of students. So in our case, it will be they should be able to, for example, discuss and differentiate various forms of organization of organizing educational process. Uh, how do we make sure that they actually know what is it? We are going to have quizzes after each model. So for example, you can drag content from here, or you can also create yourself your text. And we're also gonna have online group discussions. What learning events are we going to have in our course that students or the learners get this material? We are going to have videos, like 7-minute video for each topic. So that students will learn. This will be the basic model. So like the easiest learning outcome that they have. So the only learning activity that we will have here, for example, will be only video. But we talk about like the next learning outcome could be, for example, create engaging content for the course. And here is the acceptable evidence will be different from what we had on the top. So here is the acceptable evidence, for example, will be the recorded video from learners doing like that they know how to create a video, for example. Mhm. Or they also we would also like them to create interactive element of assessment for their course. So let's say, for example, game. How it also happen like the assessment of students and the learning of students will happen also through the peer review. So I added here. The learning events that we are going to have will be also videos, like 7-minute video. And the learning activities that we're going to have will be like online seminars. So Q&A sessions that we know that students can continue with developing their project. So we like help them to do it. The more detailed you have this table, the better will be like for you when you later creating the content. But what I would like you to do now, I will split you into small groups, like groups of 2 people. And I would like you to scroll down to the table that is according to your group and choose one of the courses that you have, like one of you in the group. And start making the learning outcomes, thinking what can be the acceptable evidence, and then thinking like what learning events do you need for learners to get this information. Do you have any questions so far before I split you into groups and joining you from time to time? Okay, so if no questions, just in case, I will pass the link again in the chat for everyone. So open this link and start working in groups. If you will have any problems, there should be an option to raise hand and I will come to you. I will continue the recording. So everyone, welcome back. Thank you for working. I see that both groups have done actually the full board. So just let's take a quick look. If you come in the evening to Caroline's session, she will probably talk more about learning outcomes and how to formulate them. Or Caroline, you can later introduce your session yourself. So what should we remember when we are talking about quiz? That quiz is mostly for student self-assessment. It should not be like massively used as a teacher's method of assessment, because it's mostly for students to check himself that he understood the material, he knows it, or at least he should have like a couple of attempts to pass the test. For example, he see that he made mistake here and there, and he can go back to the material, maybe study it again and try the test again. So I would say that quiz should not be used as the primary tool of assessing students. I'm sorry, what did you mean by discussing differentiating acceptable evidence?
In this class, we need them to just show that they understand the differences between these various kind of eras in film history. It's a pretty basic skeleton of film history. We just need them to show that they understand, and they
so they're able to talk about it.
Yeah, you guys do this decade, you guys do this decade, and you kind of feedback on each other. We don't have enough time to do everything, so we give them a pretty basic outline, timeline.
Nice.
Jeremy, were those, because I know in your courses you do in-class assessed activities, not class attendance, but class participation in activities. So is that an example of one of the activities that are graded overall?
Yeah, that one not so much. The graded stuff is more technical stuff. We get into camera angles, and then they have to take a photo or make a short video using those angles, and why do we use them? How does it make that character be perceived? So the graded stuff is more technical, hands-on stuff generally.
But it's good that you mentioned like such details, that there would be also the discussion as the evidence. So the more details you have, the easier later to plan the course and like to have all activities together, especially not to forget to put them in place.
Oh, sorry, Anastasia, I've just realized, because I know you talked about backwards design, and I know, Jeremy, you've actually designed this course in line with backwards design, and there's a beautiful chart that talks about the end product, which is creating a video which incorporates all the aspects of the course of film analysis. And then the assessment actually chunks backwards, unit by unit. They work on one aspect of the film analysis course, and it culminates in the videos at the end, which you then upload to a website. So I know, Jeremy, you do follow backwards design to a T in that course.
Thank you.
Amazing, very good example. Okay, so thank you for participating in that. I hope I can, switch the slide. Now we'll talk a bit about tips and tricks that you can use when you in synchronous digital class delivery, like for example during the Zoom lectures, because still like not every teacher is ready to deliver the content fully like online to record videos. They still use Zoom. So let's just like quickly talk about some tips and tricks that you can use when you're delivering for Zoom. First of all, I would like you to answer to the question like how much time passed since the beginning of this seminar. Please don't look at the clock, just your personal feeling. Just move the slider around. I put maximum 2 hours because definitely we should finish by the end of 2 hours. Oh, 3 answers, okay. Well, it's actually, I think 70 minutes, yes. And it's a pleasant result for me so that you don't feel the time actually as it is. And I always wanted to see the number like much greater than it actually is, because it will mean that my lecture or like my talking is super boring, my workshop is super boring. The time online is felt completely different than face-to-face time. And I remember once I had an online Zoom course that lasted 6 hours, but I had a feeling that it's a nightmare and it's lasting like the whole day from the morning till the evening because you can't do anything else. So if we're talking about like synchronous digital course delivery, we should remember that the whole entire lecture should not be converted to video lecture, like to Zoom lecture, because the time will be felt differently, and you should chunk information into small pieces, like change the activity every 15-20 minutes, for example. So if you were talking about something at the quiz, like at the slider, for example, at the discussion forum, I don't know, split to the breakout rooms. So make students interact with each other or with the content with something else. So like just change the activity, because otherwise the time will be feeling super long. Because when we're in the class, we still like, I don't know, drink water, write in the paper, talk with someone. But if we're in Zoom, we just like face to face with the camera. And it's very difficult for students, and as well, I would say, for teacher. So if the teacher also can have the break, and like in these minutes, for example, when students are discussing, it will be easier for everyone. Try to engage with students. It's also regarding the different elements that you can put in between. It's very nice when you have, like now in Zoom, when you have these different small groups, that you can personally interact with everyone, and you can know your student by name, because what we don't have in face-to-face class, if you have already 50 people, it might be difficult for you to remember each other's names and like to address the person like, Mike, answer this question, or like, can you tell something about that? But if you work in these small groups, you always have the name tag of the person in Zoom, like I know who is here, who in this session, and you can kind of address personally and remember and know your students better. And what was discussed also in the breakout room with Jeremy and Caroline, like less is more. So don't try to overfit your lesson with a lot of instruments. Choose 2-4 instruments for your class, like one class, and use them. Don't make students immediately switch from, for example, Mentimeter to Padlet, then to Visio, to WordWall, to Moodle, to something else, because they get overlapped with all this like registrations, login, and other details. So choose like 2-3 instruments and use them in your class. Next time you can choose another instruments, but it will be just easier to navigate between them for everyone. And some tricks and tips tricks and tips for the online like course delivery for asynchronous. So first of all, I would like you to answer, what do you think is the optimal video length? But I think currently, like now in the Zoom, left only people who either already teaching with this approach or teaching online, or those who had been in our course about teaching online. So I think answers will be all good. Not something like saying 60 minutes. Yeah. According to the research, the dropout rate is about 60% after 5 minutes of educational video. So if we're talking about educational video, we should target to this time, like not more than 10 minutes if needed, but better between like 5-7 minutes. So some more tricks, not only the graph that proving the words. Make video short, so target to 5-7 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. Try to make like one video, one topic. So don't mix topics, but don't try to fit everything in one video. So one video, one topic, it's digestible like separately. So student can consume this information and go, and then he can join and like take another block, consume it and go. And it will be easier to move everything around if you need to restructure the course. It's always nice to have a talking head if you're talking about the recorded course. So at least if you're not like really like to be on the video, try to introduce yourself personally. So like establish this first contact with students so that you are the instructor, you are always with them. Then you can disappear from the slide, but at least the beginning, like you should be appeared somewhere. That you're a real person, you're not a machine, or like you're not the YouTube video that's just around and everyone can use. If you don't like to be on the video at all or don't like standard ways of presentations, you can use different drawings, animations, like animated videos, or these blackboards where you can write and do stuff. It does not always have to be the presentation itself or the talking head only. And last but not least, and especially the most important, just try to be yourself. I know it's very difficult to first time to speak on the camera when you trying to deliver the lecture or like trying to lead the seminar, for example, but just be as you are in the normal class. So just try to give all your charisma, all your, I don't know, examples, your life to students, so you don't have to be like super strict, not moving person. And add interactions if possible. So if you can add interaction between the different videos, like for example quizzes, the discussion forums, please do it. If you get interactions in videos itself, it will be even better. For example, you have something like talking about some concept, and you have a pop-up question where students should answer, like, is it true, false, or I don't know, find what does it correlate with. And if they don't know the answer, they can immediately go back and rewatch the video again. I'm sorry, Jeremy, I will read the question after I'm done. I think I'm done. Okay. So this is the quality assessment that we should go for the course. I'm at it so suddenly. Just answer how you feel. All answers are correct, so no problem. And I will read the question from the chat, and then we can also talk a bit all with open microphone if you want. Do you have any tips for voice acting in videos? Conversational, informative, relaxed. Unfortunately, I don't have any tips because I'm not good in recording videos. But what I can say, like what helps me or like what helps in our group when we are recording, we have to record videos. We usually have one person behind the camera, so that the instructor is talking not to the camera itself, but that the instructor is talking to the person that is standing behind the camera, and the person who is standing behind the camera, he tries to give the emotion. That helps a bit, not much, but a bit.
I think, Anastasia, that's really good advice. I've also found instead of that single talking head, if you're interviewing somebody, sorry, let me put my camera on. If you're interviewing somebody as well, if you've got one person sort of posing as a student and asking questions, and it makes it a lot more interactive. I must admit, at the moment, I'm watching tons of YouTube videos that my son watches. Mr. Ballon, he's called, and he does these interesting stories. And I'm watching specifically to see how he interacts on camera, how he puts his videos together, and I'm making notes about that. And because I come across as too formal in the videos, so I'm really trying to follow the example of this video.
I think it all comes with the practice, because I also watch some YouTube videos and I like people, like I'm not really interested in the topic, what they're talking about, but I like the way how they give it, like the charisma, the style of talking, and I try to get it, but it's very difficult for the first time. It all only comes with the practice. Because even with these people who you watch on YouTube and who you like, if you like watch 3 years back, you will see the completely difference.
Yeah,
how they moved.
I find I come across so much better when I'm not reading from notes. I've just got some reminders for myself and it comes across a lot more natural. But if I'm more concerned about the content and not messing up with the content or missing anything, and I end up reading, it comes across really mechanical. So I need to learn to move away from notes a lot more as well, I think.
Yeah, what I noticed, like at the moment when you start reading notes, it's very difficult to stop reading them. So the less information you have there, the more you have in mind or like on your tongue, the easier to continue. Because here I also had some notes and I really tried to avoid them because I spot myself when I was talking about trends, I was there.
You're definitely right that having two people or more than one person when you actually create the video makes it kind of go a bit better, because people can hear things in your voice that you can't hear when you're doing a solo recording. So they might just tell you, say it again, but with more energy or whatever it is.
Yes, yes. And also, I like the idea of one button studio. So when you come to the room, there's everything set. You press the button and you're recording yourself. But I find it's very challenging when you don't have like kind of feedback, immediate feedback. So if you have some other person in the room, at least the person behind the camera, it can help.
That's, I was saying, I interviewed Jeremy about his course a few months ago because I'm going to create an online course in assessment in flipped learning. And we did it on Zoom, but I always have somebody else there in the room so that person can say, well, can you stop? That didn't come across very well, or, the lights here, or can you repeat that? It wasn't very clear. And that really, really helps. Like you say, having that additional feedback in real time.
Yes. So any thoughts, comments, suggestions, questions, answers? We can help each other because we're all experts in our fields, I would say, in our subjects. But multicultural, multi-dimensional exchange is very good. No more questions, no more comments. I don't know if you have any questions about specific functionality that platforms should have or like some tools should have, maybe I can give you some hints because like for example, when Caroline and Jeremy were discussing in the breakout room, I also came to them and gave a couple of tools. Maybe you also have some questions or some apps that should work somehow. Okay, if not, then thank you very much for coming today. It was very nice to talk with all of you. And I hope you will have an amazing experience in teaching digitally. And some tricks have helped you or will help you in future. And please feel free to contact me.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. I really enjoyed the session. It was great learning new tools and chatting, and really lovely session. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, dear Anastasia. Everything comes through practice. Thanks a lot for such useful tips for us. So even Mentimeter is rather useful because we see what the background, what the feedback can be. Thanks.
Yes, thank you very much. I really like Mentimeter because it's instant reaction. Like people can instantly react on what you're doing, and it's anonymously, so they feel free. They're not shy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd like to try and use Mentimeter. I'd like to use Mentimeter in my online classes. I haven't used it yet. I don't know how to use it. I mean, I'm not okay. I can answer if you say, okay, go to Menticom and use the code, but I do not know how to create it and how to start, how to make it, how to do it for my students.
Okay, well, if you want as an instructor, you go to mentimeter.com, you create an account, and with the free version of the app, you can create unlimited number of presentations, but with limited number of activities inside. I think either 3 or 5. So like this interaction slide when you move the slide bar or answer the quiz.
Okay.
But you have unlimited number of slides like I think like this, and just general slides with bullet points.
It's really good to know what the students are doing on the other end. Yeah, when we are.
Yeah, because what I found, people sometimes are shy to write in the chat, in general chat, because their name is there displayed, especially if they want to say some bad thing. or like not like really nice, let's say, but they feel free to express their thoughts in Mentimeter because it's online or because it's anonymous.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mentimeter is also quite nice for ranking activities because, you know, I choose option 3, but then I see that everyone else is choosing option 4 or 5, and it's a bit of a competition, and people can see, you know, which one seems to be the consensus and what have you. They get quite invested in it.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it, and I very like to use it like for adaptive content. I didn't use it today this way, like, but usually at the beginning I give a couple of options on what we can talk about today, or like what is the topic the most interested for the audience, and depending on what they choose, I adapt what I'm going to show or what I'm going to present. It's very nice to like for
This is very
this
challenging
immediate
for the
reaction
people.
both ways.
Very challenging. Yeah, I remember you did it in June with us.
Yes.
When we had, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, but for the teachers, okay, the teacher has to be prepared for everything, for this and that and that and everything. So depending on what the students prefer to do at that moment. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I love the competitive element you can put in it as well, where it has the scoreboard after each question. I tend to do that as a review activity at the start of each lesson. And then, you know, after each question, it says, oh, you know, Ahmet's in the lead, now Jeremy's come into second place. And they get really, really into that, very competitive. So yeah, great.
Yes, I really like Mentimeter because it has a lot of like things inside. It can be presentation, it can be different type of assessment and different type of competition. So like gamification elements. And you don't need to move or to use, for example, Kahoot or quizzes separately. So like it's all in one already.
It's also possible to create one very quickly. Like, let's just say during the class, you get an idea of something, like I should ask them about this. You can put something together in just 2 or 3 minutes and, you know, send
So
them
like
out.
this.
Right, just, yeah, exactly.
And I continue presenting and you can already vote, but it's empty slide, so please don't vote. I will delete it. Yeah, it's very nice because you don't have this flexibility in PowerPoint slides, I would say. And also, it's also a nice feature that I think now you can directly put it to Zoom. At least it added this integration, but I think it will work only if like every participant of the Zoom session have added this integration to himself. Yeah, and the other thing, I think you also can integrate it to PowerPoint. So if you already have ready lecture, like ready slides in PowerPoint, you can just add some activities Mentimeter inside of PowerPoint. You don't need to move all your PowerPoints back to Mentimeter, so to redo it again.
Anastasia, could I be very cheeky and advertise my session this afternoon?
Sure. I was going to give you the word, but I have forgotten. That's nice that you said it.
Unless there are more questions about the session.
So just give me a second, I will stop the recording. So thank you very much for being today. If you have any other questions, we will talk already after without recording. And Caroline, the word is to you.